Shalom, children of the Most High, Yahweh, our Elohim, and Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Welcome to our Shabbat Bible study. Tonight we'll be finishing up Bemidbar, which is Numbers, chapters 34, 35, and 36. Okay? So go ahead and grab your Bibles and we'll get started tonight. I hope everybody had a good week. And, now we get to have our shalom. That's right, it's Shabbat. So now we get our shalom, blessing from the Most High. Isn't that awesome? Alright, gang. Hope y'all got something to drink and got yourself settled in. Let's get going tonight, okay? That way y'all be able to just enjoy the Shabbat. Okay. Alright, gang. Tonight we'll be going over the inheritance of the tribes of Israel in the land of Canaan. Okay? Alright. Before we get started tonight, I got a map for you. And this is going to show what the land of Canaan is and what the inheritance of the 12 tribes are. Okay, so let's see if I can get this for you here. Let's see here. Let's get it for you so it's squared up. Okay. There we go. Can y'all read that? Okay. That explains where everybody's inheritance is coming. Okay, where it's going to be. So that way you got an idea. And if you notice what we were talking about before, the land of Canaan is gigantic compared to modern day Israel. Because modern day Israel is on, let's see here, is on this side over here. This is modern day Israel, okay, over here. This little sliver here is all modern day Israel. So the land of Canaan is much, much bigger than what the land of the country, the city-state of Israel is. See that? Okay, go ahead and get a look at that. Kind of take a mental note of where everything is, so that way when we're explaining it, y'all have a good idea of what we're talking about, okay? And you can see over on this side over here, over on this side, where Reuben and Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh have already settled. Okay? Alright. Let's go ahead and get started here then. Alright, chapter 34. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say to them, When you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land which falls to you as an inheritance, the land of Canaan to its boundaries. Then your southern border shall be from the wilderness of Sin, along the border of Edom, and your southern border shall be eastward, from the end of the Salt Sea. Then your border shall turn from the southern side of the ascent of Aquabim, continue to Sin, and be on the south of Kadesh Bener, and it shall go on to Hatzar Adar, and continue to Atzmon. And the border shall turn from Atzmon to the wadi of Mizraim, and it shall end at the sea. As for the western border, you shall have the great sea for a border. This is your western border. And this is your northern border. From the great sea, you mark out your borderline to Mount Hor. From Mount Hor, you mark out your border to the entrance of Hamath, and the edge of the border shall be toward Sedad, and the border shall proceed to Ziphron, and it shall end at Hatzar Enan. This is your northern border. And you shall mark out your eastern border from Hatzar Enan to Shepham. And the border shall go down from Shepham to Riblah on the east side of Iyam. And the border shall go down and reach to the eastern side of the sea of Kinnereth. And the border shall go down along the Jordan, and it shall end at the Salt Sea. This is your land with its surrounding boundaries. It's a big chunk of land. There's a lot of land there. And you can understand now when you look at a modern map how big it really is. And what is the land of Canaan. And that it has been divided. Alright, verse 13. And Moshe commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land which you inherit by lot, which Yahweh has commanded to give to the 9 tribes, and to the half-tribe. For the tribe of the children of Reuben, according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the children of Gad, according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and the half-tribe of Manasseh has received its inheritance. The 2 tribes and half-tribe have received their inheritance beyond the Jordan of Jericho, eastward, toward the sunrise. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, These are the names of the men who divide the land among you as an inheritance: Eleazar the priest, and Joshua son of Nun. And take 1 leader of every tribe to divide the land for the inheritance. And these are the names of the men from tribes of Yehudah: Caleb the son of Jephunneh. And from the tribe of the children of Simon, Shemuel son of Ammihud. From the tribe of Benjamin, Eliadad son of Kislon. And a leader from the tribe of the children of Dan, Bukai son of Yogli. From the sons of Joseph, a leader from the tribe of the children of Manasseh, Haniel son of Ephod. And a leader from the tribe of the children of Ephraim, Quemuel son of Shifton. And a leader from the tribe of the children of Zebulun, Elitzaphan son of Parnak. And a leader from the tribe of the children of Issachar, Paltiel son of Azan. And a leader from the tribe of the children of Asher, Ammihud son of Shelomi. And a leader from the tribe of the children of Naphtali, Pedhael son of Ammihud. These are the ones Yahweh commanded to divide the inheritance among the children of Israel in the land of Canaan. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what is going on dividing up the land. Okay, they got to conquer it first, but that's how they're going to divide it up. Chapter 35. This is a little more in depth. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the desert plain of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel that they shall give the Levites cities to dwell in for the inheritance of their possession. Also give the Levites open land around the cities. Okay, so they're going to give them some land just outside these cities that they have. They're going to give them a city, and outside they're going to have land for like their animals and stuff like that. And then around the outside of that land there'll be open land. Okay, probably to help them defend the cities if they're ever attacked. Alright, verse 3. And they shall have the cities to dwell in, and their open land for their cattle, and for their herds, and for all their livestock. And the open land of the cities which you give the Levites are from the walls of the city outward, 1,000 cubits all the way around. So, you're going to have the city in the middle, and then around it is going to be 1,000 cubits, which is about 1,500 feet all the way around. Okay, squared all the way around. Okay, that's for their cattle. Verse 5. And you shall measure outside the city on the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits, and on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits, and the city is in the middle. This is to them the open land for the cities. Okay, so here's the city in the middle. Around the outside, 1,500 feet, which is 1,000 cubits roughly, you're going to have their grazing lands. And then out from there, 2,000 cubits, which is about 3,000 feet roughly, there's going to be another area around there, and that's going to be an open area. There's not going to be any trees or anything around there. I think it's probably for defending the city, because it's kind of hard to defend the city if there's thickets of trees and stuff around the city for people to hide in. See what I'm saying? Okay, let's continue on. Verse 6, and the cities which you give to the Levites are the 6 cities of refuge, which you give to the manslayer to flee to, and to these you add 42 cities. Okay, so let's refer to Exodus 21:12 real quick. If I can get there, 21. 21:12, right there. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall certainly put to death. Okay, so if you murder somebody, you're put to death. All right, but this is how they're going to go about it. But if you did not lie in wait, but Elohim delivered him into his hand, then I shall appoint for you a place where he is to flee. But when a man acts presumptuously against his neighbor to kill him by treachery, you are to take him even from my slaughter place to die. Okay, so we're going to have these sanctuaries where you can go if you accidentally kill somebody. Like if you're fooling around throwing rocks and you bang somebody in the noggin and it kills them, okay, you can flee to these cities. But if it's planned out murder, you're toast. So let's see how this all shakes out, how they want to do all this. Okay, this is Yahweh that's telling them how they're going to do all this. Okay, verse 7. All the cities which you give to the Levites are 48, these with their open land. And the cities which you give are from the possession of the children of Yisrael. From the larger tribe you give many. From the smaller you give few. Each one gives some of its cities to the Levites in proportion to the inheritance that each inherits. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you pass over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall choose cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who struck somebody mistakenly shall flee there. And they shall be cities of refuge for you from the revenger, and the manslayer is not to die until he stands before the congregation for right ruling. So there's not to be any revenge on the person until he can flee to the city and be safe there until he faces the congregation to be judged. Okay? So that the avenger can't just take him out. He's safe there until he's judged. Alright, verse 13. And of the cities which you give, 6 are to be cities of refuge. Give 3 cities beyond the Jordan, and give 3 cities in the land of Canaan as cities of refuge. These 6 cities are for refuge for the children of Israel, and for the sojourner, and for the settler in their midst. For anyone who mistakenly strikes someone to flee there. So if it's a mistake and you didn't mean to do it and you accidentally kill somebody, you can flee to one of these cities and be protected until you're judged. Verse 16. But, there's that word, If he has stricken him with an instrument of iron, so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. Verse 17, and if he has stricken him with a stone in the hand, by which one could die, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. Or, if he has stricken him with a wooden instrument that could kill, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. This is it's murder. It's thought out, and you're waiting, and you're laying in wait, and you're planning it. Okay, so it's murder. Verse 19, the revenger of blood himself puts the murderer to death. When he meets him, he puts him to death. So this is a family member that's taken avenging the murder. Verse 20, and if he thrusts him through in hatred, or throws an object at him while lying in wait, so that he dies. There goes my dog. Or in enmity he strikes him with his hand, so that he dies. The one who struck him shall certainly be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood puts the murderer to death when he meets him. Verse 22, but if he pushes him suddenly without enmity, or throws an object at him without lying in wait. Okay, so if he pushes him without any hatred towards him, he just shoves him, or throws an object at him without lying in wait, or uses a stone by which a man could die, throwing it at him without seeing him, so that he dies, while he was not his enemy, or seeking his harm. Then the congregation shall judge between him who struck someone and the revenger of blood, according to these right rulings. So see, there's a judgment there of the people that are going to stand around, and they're going to listen to what happened, and they're going to judge according to what the witnesses all say. But you're going to see that there has to be more than one witness too. Verse 25, and the congregation shall rescue the manslayer from the hand of the revenger of blood, and the congregation shall return him to the city of refuge where he had fled, and he shall remain there until the death of the high priest, who is anointed with the set-apart oil. So he's got to live in that city until the high priest dies, and there's a new high priest. Okay, so he's safe there. And nobody can schwack him while he's there if he accidentally killed somebody. But he's got to stay there until the high priest dies and there's a new one that comes in. Verse 26, but if the manslayer at any time goes outside the limits of the city of refuge where he fled, and the revenger of blood finds him outside the limits of his city of refuge, and the revenger of blood executes the manslayer, he is not guilty of blood. Okay, so if he leaves that city and the avenger finds him, he's done. They can toast him and nobody's going to ask any questions because he didn't stay put. Alright, verse 28. Because he should have remained in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer is to return to the land of his possession. So after the death of the high priest, he can go home. And these shall be for the laws of right ruling to you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Okay? Whoever strikes a being, the murderer shall be executed by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness does not bear witness against someone to die. Okay, you have to have more than one witness in order for them to execute this guy. You got to have more than one person witnessing against him. And take no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death, but he shall certainly be put to death. All right, let's flip over to Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 18. chapter 19, verse 18. And the judges shall diligently search and see if the witness is a false witness, who has falsely accused his brother. Then you shall do to him as he thought to have done to his brother. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. Okay? And let the rest hear and fear, and never again do this evil matter in your midst. And let your eye not pardon, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Okay? So that way you understand that. But an avenger can use whatever means possible to schwack the guy if he can get a hold of him before he enters in the city. Like throwing a rock. You know what I mean? So that just it explains the difference between murder and manslaughter. Okay? So a murderer gets whacked automatically. They accuse him, they judge him, they sentence him. One or two or more witnesses, and he's toast immediately. There's no pardon. There's nothing that goes on there. There's no waiting for another trial. It's over and done with. There's no 20 years sitting on death row. There's none of that garbage going on. Instantly out, done, gone. But if he's not a murderer, if he's a manslayer, then he can escape to the city of refuge until the trial, and then when the trial comes against him, if they find out that it was an accident, then he has to live in that city until the high priest dies. And then there's another high priest that's brought in, and he can go home back to his land. And nobody can touch him as long as he's in that city. See how all that works? There's a difference between murder and manslaughter, okay? First degree murder is plotting it out. Alright, we got that squared away, I think. If you got any questions about that, put them down in the comments, and I'll see what I can do to help you out there. Alright, chapter 36. Oh, wait. We're jumping way ahead here. We got to finish up verse 32 in chapter 35. And take no ransom for him who has fled to his city of refuge to return to dwell in the land before the death of the priest. So you can't help him out if he leaves the city of refuge. He's done. He should have stayed put. He didn't stay put. His life is in his own hands at that point. Verse 33, and do not profane the land where you are, for blood profanes the land, and the land is not pardoned for the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of him who shed it. And do not defile the land which you inhabit, in the midst of which I dwell, for I, Yahweh, am dwelling in the midst of the children of Israel. And that right there explains why they have to go into Canaan and wipe out all of the heathens, because they have spilled innocent blood in the land. And the only way to heal the land is for them in turn to be schwacked. Alright? Because of their crappy sacrifices and the killing of children and all of that stuff that they have done, all that heathen garbage that they have done to shed blood in the land. The only way to atone for that is by their blood being shed in return. See how all that works? Okay. People say, oh, it's so terrible that they went in there and they killed all those people. They had to, because they had to cleanse the land. Yahweh was cleansing the land so that the children of Israel could take the land as their inheritance. So they had to shed that blood of those heathens for the blood that they had shed of the innocent. Okay, see how that works? Alright, like I said, if you got any questions, put them down in the comments and we'll try to figure them out. Okay, this whole blood thing is hard to understand. It's not easy to understand, but once you do understand it, then it makes sense. Okay, why it's important. The blood is life. Okay? Alright. Chapter 36. And the heads of the fathers of the clans of the children of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, of the clans of the sons of Joseph, came near and spoke before Moshe and before the leaders, the heads of the fathers of the children of Israel, and said, Yahweh commanded my master to give the land as an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel, and my master was commanded by Yahweh to give the inheritance of our brother Sesphalad to his daughters. Remember, he only had daughters, he didn't have any sons. So they said, okay, well, the daughters can go ahead and have the inheritance of that father. Okay, so just to kind of recap on that. Verse 3, Now if they are married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then their inheritance shall be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and taken from the lot of our inheritance. And if the Yobel, which is the Jubilee, of the children of Israel takes place, then their inheritance shall be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and their inheritance taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Okay, see, so if they marry outside their tribe, then whatever tribe they marry into, they get their land. Oh boy, verse 5, And Moshe commanded the children of Israel according to the word of Yahweh, saying, What the tribe of the sons of Joseph speak is right. So he's confirming what they're saying. Verse 6, This is the word which Yahweh has commanded for the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them marry who is good in their eyes, but let them marry only within the clan of their father's tribe, to keep things squared away with the land so that the land's not switching hands all over the place. And the inheritance of the children of Israel is not to change hands from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel is to cling to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. So the neighbor is not supposed to be switching around, I'll trade you this land for this land, and you married this woman, so now I get this land, and you married this man, so I get... No. Everybody marry within their tribes. That way the land stays the way that it has been divvied out. Okay? Verse 8, And every daughter possessing an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel is to be the wife of one of the clan of her father's tribe, so that the children of Israel possess each the inheritance of his fathers. Thus the inheritance is not to change hands from one tribe to another, but every tribe of the children of Israel is to cling to its own inheritance. As Yahweh commanded Moshe, so did the daughters of Zelophehad, for Melha, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to the sons of their father's brothers, and they were married into the clans of the children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's clan. These are the commands and the right rulings which Yahweh commanded the children of Israel by the hand of Moshe in the desert plain of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho. Okay? You guys get all that? And that's the end of Bemidbar, of Numbers. Okay? So, yeah, you can kind of understand now how all of this works with the shedding of blood. Innocent blood is a bad thing, and they don't want to be polluting the land with innocent blood as the heathens have done with all of their sacrifices and killing of their children and all the things that they have done. They've polluted the land. The only way that they can fix all of that, blood being the life, is that they now have to, in turn, those heathens, they need to shed their blood to cleanse the land, to get rid of the sin of what was done to the innocent. See how that works? And in the same effect, then anybody who's a murderer, they have to be murdered, killed, manslaughtered in return. See how that works? And if you manslaughter, if you accidentally kill somebody, you didn't mean to, you're jacking around doing something stupid, or you were working on a house and a rock fell off the house and knocked somebody in the noodle and killed them that was walking below your ladder, it's not murder, it's manslaughter, and it was an accident. So in that case, you just run to one of the cities that the Levites have, and they'll give you a place to hang out until the high priest dies. Okay, you go to trial, they find out that it was an accident, you go hang out in that city. Now, you could be there a long time depending on how long the high priest has to live. You could be there most of your life, you could be there a few years, who knows? But as long as you stay in that city, then the Avenger of Blood cannot kill you. Okay? See how all that works? Okay, I hope so. If you got any questions, I'll try the best that I possibly can to answer them down in the comments. Okay? All right, gang. I hope that all makes sense to you, because there is a lot there. But you know what? When you look at the law, at the Torah, okay, Yah's law, everything in it makes sense. It's very sensible, the law. Like Yehoshua says, the yoke is not heavy. If you yoke with him, it's not heavy. I understand. Some people are going to say, oh, there's so many laws in the Torah, we have to abide by them all, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you break it down, there's only about 300 laws that we have to abide by since the temple is no more. Okay? So when you break it all down, there's only about 300 laws there. Okay, let's think about modern society for a minute. I think there's like 4 million laws in the United States. Yeah, so if you're following Yah's laws, the Torah, there's 300 laws that you have to abide by, because there is no temple. But if you're following man's laws, which most of those laws have to do with filthy lucre anyway, they just want your money. You do something that they say is wrong and you got to go pay a fine, and the state collects filthy lucre off of it, which is what it is. 4 million laws that you got to know of, because ignorance of the law is not an excuse in this country. If you don't know the law and you go to court and you tell the judge, sorry judge, I didn't know that law, he's going to tell you, too bad Charlie, because ignorance is not an excuse. You need to know the laws. So if you're following man's laws, there's a lot more of them than there is of the Torah. So which would you rather follow? Righteous and true laws or man's laws? I think the Torah is pretty easy to follow compared to man's laws, and Yah is righteous and true. He don't lie. He's not out to collect filthy lucre from you. Yeah, pay enough in taxes nonetheless, the filthy lucre that they collect. Oh, you jaywalked. Yeah, there's a ticket. Go pay your fine. Crazy. Just crazy how they just suck us dry all the time. It's ridiculous. So, you have a choice. You can follow man's dumb laws, or you can follow Yah's righteous and true laws. It's a choice. It's a choice, just like everything in life, it's a choice. And if we all followed Torah, then the government could pound sand. Because then we could just tell them, too bad, so sad, we're not doing it. What would they do then, I wonder, if everybody followed Torah? It'd sure make things a lot simpler. Well, that's not for me to say. All I do is I just follow Yah's word to the best of my broken ability. Your choice is your choice. Well, gang, thanks for joining me tonight. And Shabbat is Shalom. It's such an awesome day to have this day of rest. Yah has blessed us with His day of rest and His peace, His shalom. So I hope you all enjoy your Shabbat. Make the most out of it. Don't be going and shopping and doing all kinds of chores and working and, oh yeah, I gotta go and pay a bill and yeah. Relax. Study Yah's Word. Pray. Bring your children in and get them stupid phones out of their hands and the video game controllers and teach them about our Elohim so that we don't lose them. Because if we lose them, that's it. They'll never be in the millennial kingdom. They'll never make it. And that's a choice too. Everything in life is a choice. Make your right choices. Make the righteous and true choices. Alright, yeah. Alright, gang. That's all I've got for tonight before I start just stepping all over my own tongue. Y'all have a great Shabbat, and we will see you on Monday for our next study in our extra canonicals. Okay? Alright, gang. Have a good night. Shabbat Shalom.